Hi, this is Sweet June. How's everybody doing today? Hoping everybody had a blessed weekend. Doing great. Um, just ready for winter to be over with. Over winter. Just tired of winter. Ready for it to be over. We got one more month of this madness and on to spring. So, man, it's been a long. It's the longest season here in Michigan. It's just crazy. I'm just so ready to be over it. And I can go outside and I can go for walks and enjoy the weather, take in the take in the sunshine and smell the crisp spring air and all those good things and look at the beautiful flowers blooming and the leaves coming on the tree. That's the biggest thing about when fall comes and the leaves start falling off the trees. That's when I start getting a little I think I have that seasonal thing because that's when I start getting a little depressed when the leaves start falling off the tree. I hate it when those leaves fall off the tree. It's just depressing. So when the leaves start growing back on the trees and the trees start looking all lush and pretty and green and it's just something about it just lifts my spirits. So mentally and emotionally, I do a little bit better in the summer than I do winter time, even though there's some other factors involved with when I do get depressed. There's other factors involved in there, but uh, the weather, if it's a nice, beautiful, sunny, warm day with leaves and flowers and all those kind of things, then that puts me in a better mood. I want to go out and walk or do something, and you guys gonna be getting some more videos filmed from the park and all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned. Anyway, this video topic is like I said in my other videos. I've been doing videos about single parenting, and like I said, I've been a single parent for many, many years. So I was a single parent for many, many years. So in those years, I've learned a lot of things, and I learned in that time I learned how to budget, and so that's what this video is going to be about: is giving single mothers some good budgeting tips. It's things I learned along the way, um, some things that I'm looking back in retrospect and thinking, oh, I should have done that. And it's also some things that I learned that I practiced and I did when I was a single mother. And so I want to, share some of those budgeting tips that I used when I was a single mother, and so plus some stuff that I learned and this and that and the other. So I didn't do a list. I didn't write a list or anything. So I'm just kind of going off the top of my head. So bear with me. First of all, I know a lot of times when you're a single mother, you're living on just one income. Being a single parent, you're obviously there's only one income unless you have other streams of income coming in. Um, some single mothers are fortunate enough to have other streams of income coming in, but if you only have one source of income coming in my case, in most cases, I only had one source of income coming in, primary source, and that was my job. And in this every now and then, like I say, when I got my taxes or something like that. So most cases, single mothers have one income coming in, unless you get a pretty decent child support check or something like that. You have, I had another source of income over. I had another little source of income coming in as well, earlier on when I was a single mother. And I'm not talking about welfare. But at any rate, when you're a single mother, a lot of times you're on one income, which is yours, and in most cases, a lot of single mothers are low income. They're low income, and you got to try to budget whatever you got coming in. You have to try to budget it the best way you can. because I know here in Michigan, when you're a single parent, um, and you're working, you don't get any cash assistance. Now, I don't know how it is in other states, but I know here in Michigan, when you're working, you do not get cash assistance. They might throw you a few little food stamps and some Medicaid, and the rest is on you. You know, it's your responsibility to take care of your rent and your bills and all this kind of stuff. Unless you're on Section 8, um, whatever like that. But still, if you're on Section 8, you still have to budget. You know, you doesn't regardless of whether you're on it or not, you still have to budget. You have to budget your rent money out of your check, or however, your rent amount is based on your income that you have coming in. So whether your income is, and even if you are getting a welfare check, you still have to budget that as well. So regardless of the type of income you have coming in, you still have to learn how to budget your money, regardless, whether it's welfare or whatever, Section 8, or working, or other child support, or Social Security, or other forms of income that you may have coming in. You still have to, regardless of the fact, whether you make $10,000 a year, or all the way on up to millions of dollars a year, you still have to have a budget. Even rich people have to have a budget. Rich folks got to have a budget, but they typically hire somebody to do that for them. So these are some tips that some things that I practice as being a single mother, things that I did being a single mother, and some stuff that I learned as well, and things that, like, I'm a reader, so things that I read about, and now learning as I get older. I've learned, and so I can look back in retrospect and say, I guess I could have done that more. So first of all, regardless of the kind of income that you have coming in, if you don't make a whole lot of money, you gotta know you gotta pay your rent. You have to pay your utilities. You know that you have to buy food. I mean, even if you get food stamps, you still have to budget those food stamps. Because they only give them to you once a month, so you gotta stretch those food stamps. A lot of single mothers get into couponing. I wasn't real big on the couponing thing. Um, I tried it one time, and um, I understood the concept of it, and I actually tried it one time, but it was just so time consuming that I didn't really have time to really, um, the process you have to go through to get the coupons. And you have to go through the process of getting the coupons, and then you have to find the sales and things like that. So my thought was, I really didn't have a time to really do all that. Every now and then I used to use coupons, but I wish I really took the time to really coupon more, because I know there's some YouTubers on here that they coupon, and they save lots and lots of money. They save tons of money. So I mean, if you and that's one of my tips. I mean, if you can take the time to sit down, and because I think the whole concept is getting the coupons, either offline or out of your local newspaper, and you get multiple copies of those coupons. And what you do is you find the sales, you get your sale ads. In most cases, you can get those sale ads online. If you don't go to get an actual paper, every store has a website, so you can actually literally go on their website, and you can pull. They have their ads on their website, and so you can check those ads, and if you have a coupon that corresponds with whatever it is that they have on sale, and if you have multiple copies of that coupon, then you can go in and get X amount of you know um, um, items, and use that coupon on top of the sale. That knocks off a considerable amount of money. Like I said, I understand the concept of it, but it's just that I didn't have the time, or either the time or the patience or both to actually sit down and do it. So, but I tried it and it actually does work. You literally do save a lot of money when you do that. But the key is that, you know, when you got to have your computer and you got to have your printer and get on your coupon sites. The key is getting those multiple coupons. That's the hard part. It's trying to, you know, gather up those multiple coupons and then looking for your sales at the various stores. And so, and I know that some coupons even go to Dollar General, and Dollar General, they go to the Dollar Tree, and use those coupons. I think those stores accept coupons. Oh, Dollar General definitely does, because I've used coupons in there before, and the Dollar Tree accepts coupons. So you know everything in there is $1. So if you got a coupon for 50 cents off or $1 off, that stuff is free. You know. So I mean, it really does help if you can use coupons as much as possible. Go ahead and do them because you're gonna save a lot of money, particularly on your groceries. So yeah, I definitely recommend coupon use. And if you, let's say you getting food stamps and you only got, let's say they only giving you $200 a month. Well, you got to make that $200 a month stretch. So, no, when I got food stamps, when I used to get food stamps, and I only got a certain amount of money, I would think about the important things that I need. You know, the most important things was like meat. The most expensive things, food items, is meat. That's the most expensive food item. So, I would take and go buy my meat. Try to catch the meat sales. You know, get deals and everything like that. I would try to get that out the way first. And then whatever I had to use with my cash, you know, whatever I had to buy with my cash, I would buy the rest of my stuff that I needed with my cash, you know. So I use those food stamps to buy the most expensive food items, which is the meat. And so I would utilize the food stamps for that, and then I would use whatever cash I had, you know, when the stamps would run out, I would use that for other food items that I may need that's cheaper, you know. So that's a good tip right there. You know, if you only get a certain amount of food stamps, you know, get the most important items with those food stamps, the most expensive items with those food stamps. And then, you know, the money that once the stamps run out, you get your other items out of your money, you know. So that's one of the tips right there. And then I know one thing I used to do is now you know you got to pay your rent, and you know you got to pay your utilities and things like that. And so what I do, I know I mentioned in one of my other videos, what I do when I get my check, I take out, you know, how much, or I used to split it up. Um, if my rent was a certain amount of money, I would take half of my rent money out of one check. I would take half out the other check, and then divide it up like that. And then I would think about the utilities. Some utilities are due at the beginning of the month, or some bills are due at the beginning of the month. If you have utilities plus other bills that you have to pay, some of those are due at the beginning of the month. Some of them are due at the end of the month. So you know you decide. Um, I did a lot of things off the top of my head. Long time ago, I used to write my budget down, but then in most cases, I did everything from the top of my head. Because I would just, when I got my check, I would just take out, okay, I need X amount of dollars for rent. I need X amount of dollars for the gas bill. And I would take all my bill money out first before I do anything else. I would highly recommend the first thing you do is, they always say pay yourself first. Still learning how to do that. And I know as a single mother, it's so hard to save money when you're a single mom. It's especially when you're low income, and you know you living on a limited income, and you're living on one income, and you live in paycheck to paycheck. It's virtually impossible to save. I know, been there, done that, still doing that. But it's almost impossible to save, but it's not. It's actually is possible to save. It seems like it's impossible. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It seems like it's impossible to save, but you actually can. And actually, I'm starting to, believe it or not, I'm starting to learn that you can save small amounts of money. Even if it ain't nothing but a couple of dollars. Open up a checking and a savings account. And even if you're not throwing nothing but a couple of dollars into that account, I mean, throw something into your savings account. And also, it's not always about putting money in the bank. You can save money. You can save dimes, quarters, nickels, pennies, dollar bills. You can save all those things. And just like your spare change, I know when I get spare change at the store, I throw it at the bottom of my purse. How many of you females do that? I throw the change at the bottom of my purse. So I take that change that's at the bottom of my purse and I save it. I save it. And so you would be surprised how much that adds up. Like every time you go to the store and you throw your spare change at the bottom of your purse, and then at the end of the week you take that spare change out and you save it, and you save it, you'd be surprised how much money you have saved at the end of the year. If you don't mess with it, you would be surprised how much money you've saved at the end of the year. But I know they talk about an emergency fund, that everybody should have an emergency fund. I never have an emergency fund because I live paycheck to paycheck. So in most cases, I'm going on a hope and a prayer. So, but if all possible, if you can save an emergency fund, like everybody gets tax refunds, they get the child care rebate and everything at the end of the year. If you could take some money out of your tax refund, set it aside, put it in a separate account, and that could be your emergency fund for whatever. If your car breaks down or something like that, you have that just in case. I know there was times that I would do that. I would take a certain portion out of my tax money, set it aside, and most 9 times out of 10, it would always be a rainy day and something would come up and I would have to use it. So at least you have it for when something does happen. You have that, and they say it's very important to have an emergency fund. So that's something that you can pull from your tax money. So, but when you get your check, like I said, you can budget out your rent, budget out your, and even your gas, whatever gas that you're going to use, or if you drive a car, or if you live in a larger city and you commute, you take the train and you take the bus. Take out whatever it is that you need for your transportation costs right there out of your check. Take all that out of your check, like your rent, your bills, um, money for your rent, your bills, your transportation costs. Take all that off the top, and whatever it is that you have left over, that will be for your miscellaneous, things that you need around the house. Household things like toilet paper, dish soap, laundry soap, and et cetera, et cetera. And then any food that you need to buy for the week or 2 weeks, you budget that out. You figure how much food you need for the next 2 weeks, whatever you and however many kids you have, you budget that out. So whatever it is that you have left over, that's the money that you have left over to do whatever. I know that after I get done taking out my bill money, buying my necessities that I need for the house, and things like that, after I get done taking all that out, whatever I have left, and my transportation costs, after I get done taking all that into consideration, whatever I have left, I kind of hang on to it, unless it's something out there. I always told my kids, well, there's a difference between wants and needs. And so it's a difference between you wanting something and a difference between you needing something. So you have to be reasonable when you're on low income. You have to be reasonable. I mean, you might want to go out and get your nails done, but then you got to look at your budget. Okay, well, is it financially feasible for me to get my nails done this week? That particular week, it might not be feasible for you to get your nails done. But if you got enough money extra after you get done taking all those things out, getting your necessities, your bill money, rent money, necessities, and everything like that, and you got a little bit, you should always keep something on you just in case, And plus, if you depends on if you got a job and you got to buy your lunch or whatever, you got to take that into consideration. Buying your lunch versus taking, it would probably be cheaper for you to take it in if you got to take it in. I know most of the jobs I work, the meals, we got provided with meals. But if you got to buy your lunch, you got to take that, you got to factor that in too. So whatever it is that you have left over, try to hold on to that for, because you always want to have some kind of money on you for whatever, for whatever reason. So if you got enough to get your hair, after you done doing all that, you got enough to get your hair done. I know I always, like I said, I got my hair braided, and that would last me 2 or 3 months. Um, I know I couldn't afford to go to the beauty salon every 2 weeks or something like that. I did it years ago, but got to the place where I couldn't afford it. And so whenever I did get my hair done, I would get it braided or something like that where it would last me 2 or 3 months and I didn't have to worry about it. So that's a viable option as black women, or nothing wrong with throwing a piece on your head. I know there's many a day I wore a piece or wear your hair natural. But you gotta have your priorities in order. I mean, if you gotta pay your rent, utilities, and things like that, necessities for the house, um, um, lunch money for the kids, or if they have free lunch, the children might need something. They might need some clothes. They might need a pair of shoes. It all depends on what your needs are at that particular moment when you get your check. That's what you're gonna gauge when you get your check. When you get your check, you're gonna gauge that. You're gonna say, okay, what do the kids need? I gotta take out X amount of dollars for rent, utilities, and necessities. Okay, what do the kids need? So if the kids need a coat or a pair of shoes or whatever like that, and I know some stores still have, they ain't hardly got Kmart's around no more, but I think Target's has a layaway. Some stores, Walmart's I think has layaways. So utilize those layaways. I know I never liked layaways, and that's probably part of the reason why I'm in debt because I never liked layaways. But that's a good way of keeping yourself out of debt. It's nothing wrong with utilizing layaways. Put the stuff in the layaway. Um, when your children need school clothes, I would say about July, go in there. And it wouldn't hurt to go in there in June and then pick out their stuff, put it in the layaway, and then that gives you the opportunity to pay on it, you know, as time goes, and that way by the time school start up, you got their clothes, and so utilize those layaways. I mean, it's going to save you from getting a lot of debt or whatever. I wouldn't recommend getting any credit cards. Single mothers, I would not recommend do not get any credit cards. I wouldn't recommend it. If you do get a credit card, just get one credit card. You can use that for if in event you need to rent a car, or I know most rental companies want you to use credit cards. I think Enterprises takes debit. I've rented cars from off a debit card from Enterprise Rental, unless they change their policy. I don't know. It's been a while since I've rented a car, but most of the time they want you to use a credit card. So it's nothing wrong with having one credit card just in case of an emergency. You might need to rent a car, or you might need to go to the store and grab the baby some or one of your kids some medicine. You might not have the cash on hand to do it, but use that credit card just in case of an emergency, just in case you actually need the credit card. You might need to get something done to your car, and you don't have the money. You can use it for that. But when you use the credit card, make sure you pay it off. Make double payments on it. If you make double payments on that credit card, that cuts down on the interest. The important thing is not letting that interest build up on that credit card. So if you get that credit card and you use it, make sure you pay it off as soon as you can. The sooner you can pay it off, the better. And it's going to be better for your credit rating. But I wouldn't recommend getting any credit cards because I've gotten a lot of trouble over credit cards. Because if you're low income, you shouldn't. People with low income shouldn't have credit cards because all it's going to do is put you in a lot of debt. So just have if you don't I recommend if you go shopping or whatever, pay cash for it. Catch the sales, do all that, but don't use any credit cards. So like I said, have that one credit card for emergency, and that's it. That's my recommendation. And so that's what you do. I mean, and it's a difference between needs and wants. You know, do you really need to get your nails done, or can you learn how to do your own nails? Some women do their own nails. I know I'm going through a thing right now. Is I've never really gotten. I usually do my own manicures, and my thing is now, you know, my nails grow pretty good, but they don't. The problem is they don't grow even. You know, I've always had good nail growth, but the problem is that they don't grow even. So I was asking the lady at work, I mean, how much do you pay to get your nails done? And I think they're like $20 to $30 to get your nails done. And I was thinking that would be nice to have all even nails. So I thought about actually getting the fake nails put on and to have them all even, you know, and they're automatically painted and all that kind of stuff. And so now I'm going through a process of whether I'm trying to decide, is it is it can I fit it into my budget? Because once you get them done, it's like you got to go back and get them filled and all that kind of stuff. So it's like a maintenance thing. You know, you got to kind of keep up on the maintenance of them. So I'm trying to decide right now if I can afford it, if I can fit that into my budget, if I can actually afford to start getting my nails done. Because even when I get pedicures, it's like a extra luxury for me because I typically do my own pedicures, but when I go have it done professionally, it's just something extra that I do if I have extra money. You know, it's just something I treat myself to when I have extra money. And it's not something that I do on a constant basis. So something like that, getting your nails done, getting your hair done, you have to figure out if you can fit that into your budget. But don't put getting your hair and nails done over buying the kids, if your children needs clothes, or you need food for the house, or utility, or God forbid rent. I mean, you know, never put getting your hair and nails done over those things, because those things are a priority. So there's ways of getting around. Like I said, I always would get my hair braided, or I'd wear it natural, do it myself, um, things like that. Wear a piece, you know, ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't care what nobody say. So when you got kids, you gotta make sure that your kids have everything that they need, and so you have to have your priorities in order as a single mom, especially when you're on a limited income. When you're low income and you have a limited income, you know, you have to, you know, have your priorities in order. So you have to decide, if getting my nails done, can I fit that into my budget? You know, and so I had a tendency to think in those terms. I think, well, now that's why I'm going through a process now. Okay, can I fit getting my nails done into my budget? So I don't know. I don't know if I can fit it and get, because it's a maintenance thing. So um, that's something that you have to gauge for yourself. You know, like if you want to buy a pair of shoes or something like that, you have to decide, okay, is it in the budget this week for me to get myself a pair of shoes? Or catch the sales, you know, keep your eye out on your sales and things like that. Or is it something that I can wait till tax time? Because you know, tax time you're gonna have extra money. So if it's something that can wait until tax time, then wait till tax time to buy the new shoes or the new coat or something like that. Because a lot of times, by the time that your taxes roll in February, they put in coats and shoes and all that. If you live in a cold state, they putting coats and shoes and all that kind of stuff on clearance. By that time, that stuff is on sale. So you can go in and get that stuff on sale. You can even go, I know you can go to Burlington Coat Factory all year round and get good deals on coats for the whole family. You, the kids, and everybody else. So that's a good time to actually buy stuff like that. I know I would, when my tax money would come, I would go to Burlington, and that would be the time where I would go get coats and different things like that I could not afford to get throughout the year. And so there you go. So that's what you do. You take advantage of your sales, and you shop when, for those types of things, when you have the extra money and stuff like that. And my recommendation to single mothers is, um, it wouldn't hurt to learn. I'm in the process now of where I'm starting to get educated on the stock market. I'm still going through the process of doing that because I never really done it, and so I'm still going in the process. I'm still learning a lot of things about the stock market and different things in the stock market. But when I do learn more stuff, I will come back on here and share with you guys what I've learned. It wouldn't hurt to learn the stock market and invest a little bit of your money, whenever you can. So um, they say even a little as $100 can be invested. So that's a good idea too. Like I said, I'm still in the learning process, and like I said, when I get the more information I get, then I'll come back and I'll probably do a video and inform you guys about what I learned. So those are some of my tips for single mothers. Budgeting tips. Um, Let me know in the comment section what you think about this video. If you're a single mother, what is your share with me? What's the best way for you to budget? What's the best budgeting strategies that you use? And does it work for you and your family? So single mothers, sound off in the comment section. I need you, if you're new to my channel, please subscribe and like this video. Share it if you want to. Stay tuned. I got some good, interesting video topics coming up. This is Sweet June.